Today we're looking at short crust pastry, but before we get into that, I just want to ask you all to subscribe and hit the like button if you like what I'm doing. Anyway, today is short crust pastry. It's a devil for everybody, this one, even me, as you've already seen in my introduction there. However, we did manage to get out one lovely apple pie. Well, there was two actually, but my father-in-law took one. So we're left with this lovely golden apple pie. I'll show you how to do it. Just grab yourself a coffee and sit down and enjoy. For our apple pie, what we need is 400 grams of self-raising flour, 100 grams of lard, 100 grams of butter or margarine, and for a sweet pastry we put in 30 grams of caster sugar, a pinch of salt and water to combine. And for inside, for our filling, what we need is Bramley apples, some lemon juice, some corn flour, a sugar of choice. I like brown because it's, well, gives it like a caramel effect, and some butter. I'm putting in 400 grams of self-raising flour. I'll put on the screen what it is for one pie. To that I need to add 1 ounce of sugar, which is here, which I'd lost. 1 ounce of caster sugar. A pinch of salt. Just give it a mix around. To that I'm going to add 100 grams of butter and 100 grams of lard. If you're vegetarian, you can use Trex. What we need to do now is combine the ingredients, and I like to use a pastry cutter for this, and just press down with your pastry cutter. Now, for pastry, it's ideal if everything is super cold, so straight from the fridge. Doing it with your fingers, which you can do, rubbing it between your fingers, I would advise that you run your hands under cold water before you even begin. Obviously make sure they're clean. Can't bake without your fingers being clean. But make sure that you run them under cold water before you begin, especially on a warm day, which today is. Once your butter and your lard has been mixed in with your flour, you should have a breadcrumb consistency, somewhat like this. What we need to do now is put some water in it to bring it together. So get yourself a fork and a glass of water and a tablespoon. So we're going to start by putting in 3 tablespoons of water to bring it together. Now, what I can say is, depending on the flour that you use, it will depend totally how much water you need. It also depends on where you are in the country, or in the world even, and what your humidity is. So if I say it's going to take 8 tablespoons of water, it might take you more, it might take you less. As you can see, it's starting to clump together now. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the best way to actually tell whether this is ready to do or not is actually to get your hands in there. But I can see that it's still a little bit dry, so I'm going to put 2 more tablespoons in. This is very much like our rock buns. Okay, see, you can see it's coming together a lot better now. So what I need to do now is get my hands in there to see if it's wet or dry, or whether it needs more or less. You can flavour your pastry with many things. Orange zest, lemon zest, cinnamon, any other spice that you're interested in. Depending on what you've got going on and what you're making will depend on whether you flavour it or not. Make sure you roll your sleeves up and then get your hands in if they're clean. Make sure they're clean before you do this. And just start bringing it together. Just give it a light squeeze as you do it. And you can see now that it's coming together slightly. Now, an easy way to remember how to do pastry, if you're out and about and you haven't got a book with you, it is half the value of fat to flour ratio. So if you've got 150 grams of flour, you would have 75 grams of fat. There we go. Once it's together, leave it at that. Put it up to one side and get yourself some cling film. Roll it out across your top. Cut it off. Whoopsie. And then what you need to do is put your pastry in here. What we're going to do is chill it for a minimum of an hour. What we need to chill it for is that it rolls out better when it's cold. Makes it easier to deal with. So just wrap it up in your cling film. I'll call it tin foil there. Wrap it up in cling film. So give it a little squash so it goes down a bit. And then stick it in your fridge for half an hour. So I have a large bowl here to which I am going to add some lemon juice. About a tablespoon of lemon juice I think would be enough. This is to stop the apples from going brown. All we need to do, these are Bramley apples by the way. They're the best ones to make pies with because they keep the consistency but are juicy enough to go quite soft. You can make it with eating apples, but I would recommend you stew them before you put them in. With these you don't need to. Chopping down the middle, then the side, it again, and then again, pop that to one side. And all we do is cut it into nice, even crescents. There you go. And then pop them into your bowl with your lemon juice. Once you've sliced up all your apples, put them in a bowl with some lemon and some water so they won't brown too much while you're doing your pastry, and just set them to one side once you've done that. Set your oven to gas mark 5. So cut your pastry in half, and then taking one half, cut that slightly off centre. The bigger part is going to be your base and the littler part is going to be your top. And the other one needs to go to one side for now, so we're going to put it back in the fridge. Now taking a pie dish, get your butter and liberally grease the pie dish. Set your pie dish to one side for later. Liberally flour a clean surface and take your pastry, press it down so that it's square, and then taking a floured rolling pin begin to roll. Roll in one direction as shown here. Continue rolling and doing quarter turns and rolling and doing quarter turns until your pastry is big enough to fit your pie dish. Make sure your pie dish is able to be covered by pastry by holding it over the pastry. If the pastry isn't large enough, then continue to roll out until it is large enough. Once large enough, fold your pastry into quarters. Then take your pie dish and place it so that the point is in the centre of the dish. Unfold it and then press gently into the sides of the pie dish. Once you've lined your pie case, trim with a knife, being careful not to injure yourself. It's now time to take your pastry out the fridge to do the top. Now roll your pastry out as you did the base. Roll it, turn it a quarter, roll it, turn it a quarter, and keep going until you've got it the same size as your pie dish. Once you've rolled out the top, it's time to fold it into quarters again. Okay, so taking our apples, add a quarter cup of corn flour. Now that is to soak up all the juices that are in there, so a quarter cup is usually just enough. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon per apple, and then what I'm going to do after that is add some more to the pie on top as I put it in. So mix it all in. You need that corn flour to be everywhere. Now it's time to fill your pie dish with your apples. So spoon them in and just keep going till you've got a slight dome on top. Now it's time to add some extra sugar. So taking whichever sugar you prefer, brown or white, it makes no difference. I like brown. And put several tablespoons over the top of your pie. The reason I do this is family apples are really sour, and the more sugar you can get, the better really. So about 2 tablespoons per apple. Now go around the edges of your pie crust with a little water. This is to help the pastry stick to each other. It's now time to put your top on your pie. So place the centre of it in the middle as we did before, putting the base in, and then unfold it. Lightly press the edges of the pie down, and then taking a fork, go around the edges and press the fork into the edge of the crust of the pie. This will help to seal the pie. Now, taking a knife, trim the edges of the pie. Now take a knife and put some holes in your pie crust. This is to let any hot air out. You can be as decorative as you like, or just put one in the middle. You can roll out any remaining dough to make little items that can go on the top, such as leaves. Once you've done that, take an egg, whisk it, and then brush the surface of your pie with your egg wash. This will make it a lovely shiny browny golden colour. Once done, bake in a moderate oven, gas mark 5, for 40 to 45 minutes.